Or I get this number, I'm at the score. And today we're playing more Satisfactory. Also, I am going to... Well, not going to. I have made emojis. I have made little emojis that people can use in the chat now. Which I will break down in a good second. I will break it down. Okay? We'll be dancing. It'll be all nice and cool. I'm joking. We're not going to be dancing. We're going to be filling up oil, ironically, but that's not dancing. I'm a failure. I'm joking. The other will be panicking in the background because we ain't got no oil. We ain't got no oil. Oil. So we got at the top Happy Ghost spinning around. We also have the Nodding Ghost for nodding, and we also have the Ain't No Oil Ghost, which is supposed to be a play on the Ain't Got No Oil meme. Ain't got no oil. But yeah, I like it. Because who doesn't feel absolutely horrible when you realize that your gun ain't got no oil? You know what I mean? Because it ain't got no oil. Okay. What are we talking about here? So... in order to meet the needs of Moronicism, okay, so that's all nice and dealt with stuff. So we got modular engines, which need Ruber motors and smart plating. That is the less complicated of the two, but the more demanding. And then you got the adaptive control unit, which requires automated wiring, circuit boards, heavy modular frames, and computers, which is definitely not the simpler of the two. But at least we have the heavy modular frames automated at this point. Everything else is a little bit more finicky right now. Either way... definitely not going to get the modular engines cleanly automated for a while. Or not. The modular engines are going to be, like, automated relatively quickly. It's this that's going to be complicated. The adaptive control unit. Takes computers and circuit boards. I mean, I have plenty of circuit boards, so I could just try and set that up now, but... the modular frames, getting that done is going to be the complex part for me. And the automated wiring is not all that bad. It's pretty simplistic. I just need to flipping make it. Heck, I might just make it inside of my super factory thing back there. Actually, it's back there, but that's beside the point. My steel factory is going to be building up supplies. My other stuff is going to be doing other stuff. I don't really want it to fill up, though, so... with the modular factory, or not the modular, the steel factory being something that I don't want filled in the same way, I'm gonna probably go ahead and invest a little bit of time here. I can just go ahead over here. I'm going to go ahead and, I think, increase the storage capacity because... Is this modular frames? Overflow. I mean, legitimately. Yeah, any overflow. And then just... And say go ahead with that. But that should be perfectly functionable. If I dump this in again, this should fill right up. And then any spare goes in here. Like, super quick. Great. So we should not run out of storage capacity anytime soon. But just in case... I'm going to add a second buffer. This means that when I run out of space on this, I can just go into this, empty it out as much as it needs to be emptied out, and then be done. Because really we need those things, like, out of there pronto. And legitimately, like, if I was wise, I just work this back over to this, instead of having this super huge buffer that does nothing, since this thing is going to empty itself out. Speaking of, this thing is lacking in something that would be steel pipe. Is the steel pipe connected in? The steel pipe's empty. That was just bugged floor hole. Also that was just okay, definitely want this to be it should be correct. I don't know why the stinking floor hole would be bugged. Okay, so it wasn't a bugged floor hole. It's just that there's nothing coming through here. Why not? Why are there so few pipes? I'm confused. That's not the pipe floor, is it? Nope, there's no pipes there. There's no power. There's no power because I remade the elevator. The elevator was the source of power. It was the source of that power. That should be correcting itself shortly. But speaking of, just going to go ahead and make sure that all floors are properly plugged in and functional. This floor seems to be. That floor is. There shouldn't be any floor. I could transfer all of the power logistics underground, which I don't feel like is a bad idea. But it is an odd one to be sure. Nah, I'm joking. Anyway, the actual lines should start compressing soon. Yep, there we go. I should start getting this nice little good stuff in there. And we've got it manufacturing. Party 23. Okay. Do want to make sure that this all isn't just because there's a lot of space to stow. No, it's functioning, it's constructing. This is yellow because it's full. Same thing here. Meaning it may be wise, not 100% sure, but it might just be wise to decompress this a little bit. Maybe I'll add a nice little exhaust for spare parts, but I don't think I'm doing it right now. Alright, so everything's functionable again, everything's working, this thing is definitely operating, this thing is downright full. Everything seems bueno. But it is going to take a while. And we don't want any of that sunk. We just want it to, actively speaking, start filling up. We're not sinking the heavy modular frames. That's just not a thing. I'm crazy. Not that crazy. Alright. I'm streaming, right? Yeah. Nobody came to see me. No. I'm joking. Although if I do want to incorporate this to be the highway, I do need to better manage certain routes here. Very clearly, this is a little bit, shall we say, ridiculous to traverse. Like if I want a car to drive from here to there, there is a wall here, so I need to figure out what I'm going to do about that. The easy answer is just send it up, but like, it's already what I did. So I think what I'm probably going to do is actually send it down. I know it's shocking when up doesn't work, you go down instead, but I mean, if it works, well, it also means that I can transfer some of this power infrastructure into that, which would probably be wise, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what that would even look like. Alright. How do I want to handle this? Well, why do it like that? I can just do it like this. No, because that's stupid. The main problem is that I'm coming from above, expecting it to just work. What I need to do is come from below and actually think about the way I built this. And how it's wrong. So that I can then correct that and actively get it to function. So that's good. One spare. And that should be fully sufficient. Then we just go with age-old classic. Soup foundations and delayed regrets. Speaking of architecture. Okay. That's actually not that bad. figure out what I'm doing. So this whole thing is its own application of foolishness. Although I could just flop that over there. Then that wouldn't solve the issue. I'd have to actually wire it back up from the inside. But I feel like it's probably just straight up wiser. So how about... Oh, but I can't do that. Okay, I get it. I get it. I know what I did. I don't think that a power pole is the wisest decision here. Either. Yeah, no. If anything, the best thing I can do is just go down further. But I can't really do that without causing complications here. What I need to do is think up. Which I can't really do. But I can. I just need to realize what I'm hoping to accomplish. Then get myself the rest of the way there. Okay, so there we go. Is it floating? Yes. Does it have to be? No. I specifically placed that with the hopes that it would not clip anything. Alright. Nope, that's a bad idea, that's a bad idea, that's a bad idea. And it's not really any good ideas, so... Okay. Why did I have to sit down and make this into spaghetti? Spaghetti. So, how do I want to handle this? Alright. For some reason, my control does not work with the teeny nudge. Well, actually, it's not control. It's very quick for me. Maybe if I... Nope. Okay. Make an even bigger ghost fund real quick. It's not all that important. It's not like people don't know what's thinking down here, but ethically speaking, do try. Key bindings. Let's see. So, right mouse button is respawn. Yeah, it's fine. Equipment actions. Right mouse. RB. Resource scanner. Reload. Open menu. Play pause. Nudge forward. Nudge up, nudge down. Rotate hologram. Scroll up. Secondary fire. Sample buildings. Lock, unlock hologram. Snap to guidelines. Toggle mask dismantle. Dismantle filter. Customized filter. Focus search. Right mouse. Craft. Photo instructions. And skip audio messages. Expand, minimize presentation. User interface. Baby, I'm here. I don't know how to get my baby to stop panicking at such silly moments. I know she's genuinely worried, but there isn't a reason to be. You know what I mean? Okay, so if I just go through here, then that should solve that. Yeah, no clipping. Baby, please stop panicking. There's literally no reason to. I will accept that clip because at some point I'm not gonna get this perfect. I can understand that. I can try to just barely, like, slip it through the cracks, like about here. But I don't see much terrain to get doing that. Oh, now it's functioning. Maybe. Baby, I'm currently trying to get stuff done. Not the best time. I'm trying. What's your problem, little one? Why are you panicking? Ern does not want to potty alone. Ever again. And now that's my problem. Okay. Trying to be there in case she needs me, and she is decided that I need to attend to her poopage and peeage in the litter box because she wants to peep and poop all over the place and not in the litter box. So obviously now I have to. I don't even know what. So as far as this goes, that'd be output. So let's just make it output. This would be input. Make it input. This isn't even what I was trying to do today. I wanted to get started at the thing over there. I wanted to get started with some... You know what? This is something that I can do real quick. It's not a massive stinking hoopla, blah blah blah. Super duper califragilisticexpialiosis design in most regards, but I'm just gonna go here. I've got some supplies, and I can dedicate them to the ideal of making sure that I don't have to deploy them later. So there should be computers in this crate here. Very nice. And there also should be a couple of circuit boards. Circuit boards aren't all that useful right now. I will tell you, they seem to be running a little bit lower than expected on cables. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, so let's get this handled. That is clipping. I'll ignore that. I believe that this is what is needed for this thing to start working again. No, it's quick wire, actually. We got plenty of cables. Do we have plenty? Maybe? Yeah, we got plenty of cables. There should be a bunch of plastic in here. Yeah, it's not that much cables. Should be... almost automatic at this point. Alright. Since it seems to keep on running out. And also, the rest of this... more likely to need that anyway. So we've got computers and quick wires. I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to probably want to... yeah. I thought it was quick connectors. high-speed connectors. The one time they don't use... Okay. This thing's absolutely full of modular frames. And there's no reason to be. Alright, so let's see. Okay, it's disconnected. It's filled up. Great. Now then, I'm going to go ahead and repower this sucker just to empty him out. Okay. Make sure to hit the modular frames. And then let's get it rolling. So, well, actually, first things first, I can go to this thing over here. Everything seems fine. But evidently it is not. It's Mark 4, this is Mark 4. I can't go that way because that's not how it works. Okay, up is any. Left was modular control. Modular frames, please. I got sticking. Do that again. I don't even know what that was supposed to be about. And I'm not going to pretend to care. Sure. Why is this broken? How did this break? Where is this hard to understand? So I think that it's actually that it's stuck in here. Why won't these snap anymore? I don't know. Heavy modular frame. Overflow. 4 belts. Why will it not work? Why is it stuck? There we go. Alright. Alright, so first things first, let's just check what automated wire even requires. Faders and cables, so we're going to go ahead and set that up now. This is going to now be for cables, and then this is going to be for stators. Wow. Where's the stinking cables in my inventory? There's the cables. This is so useful right now. Smart plate, auto wire. I've got no idea which one goes to where. So which one turned on? The correct one! Awesome! Now I just gotta figure out where to get the stators. Yes, thank you. I'm gonna stick that back. On track where it belongs. I don't even know. I'll probably transfer those cables right over. Once I start carrying again. Should be something where it needs my computers somewhere, but which one requires the computers? I think it's this one. Yeah, it also requires circuit boards too. Let's just hook them up. I'm not gonna pretend like this ain't temporary. Conveyor too steep. Why not just use the curve? So the heavy modular frames go up top. The computer and circuit components are down there. Thank goodness. Whatever would I do without those 2 bits of information? Oh, and also I've got plenty of circuit components. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the sorting machine sort those through. Hopefully it works flawlessly. Could be some circuit boards and then some other stuff, and if we're lucky, it'll show up in one of these 3 spots. Let's see. 2 holes should be activating. Now, 2 belts, 2 belts. So, do I got 2 belts? I've got a jam. Where am I now? Is it back here again? No, it's not back here again. It is somewhere else. Because I just had to do the super compact cool thing and make this all effectively unusable. So, what do we got? We've got where this thing shoots up any. That should be correct. I'm sure it's not. Mark 4. I mean, was there any circuits up there? No, there was nothing up there, so yeah. I chose correctly. I knew what was broken. Alright. So, what we do here is we figure out how to fix it. And more often than not, the answer is just admit it ain't gonna look good. So, right, any, left, none. And this one will be, was required, cable, yeah, cable. This will be cable. Great. What the fudge? Cable. And that should be stators. Great. Looks good for what it is, which is garbage, but we're gonna move on from that. gonna go there. Past that, looks like it should be handling itself just fine. Alright, and also we even have some overflow, thankfully. I don't care. So we're gonna put in a little bit of this stuff just to make sure that this also functions. And it does. Awesome. Okay. Speaking of, don't feel like there's anything underneath powering that yet, so we're just gonna go ahead and get to work on that. If we check underneath, we can see the power lines go through like that. There should be a light on this. There's two connections there. One connection, that one's... Yeah, so this one will go up to the big boy up top. I'll just turn that on. See what we get for it. That's the middle, just turn on the middle. Great. Now all I need is a bunch of stators and a couple more computers. Just out of my inventory. Take my computers, you stinking twat. I'm using the word twat. That's too much British stuff. That's silliness. Okay, let's get going. We repaired it, we got it functionable. We still gotta finish that off. Ain't all that hard, but ain't comfy either. I could temporarily power shard everything. Over here, power shard and summer sloop. Especially for the heavy modular frame. I don't think that'd be the worst thing in the world. It'd be dramatically more power draw, but there's already gonna be some power draw issues. So what do we got going on here? We have the power out. So where is this power out and why? I'm suspecting turning one of those on was more or less a bad idea. Let's check. We've got over here, everything's fine. Build up a genius plan device that does the geniusness all on its own. And then you forget to stink and separate out the stink from the crap that does the job. Press the buttons that need to flip the levers and such crap. Alright, so everything should be functioning again. Awesome, great. What we're looking at over here, not so great. Everything's taking forever. Everything here is functionable, but I do need some stators. This should be empty. This does take forever. You may be tempted to power shard the crap out of this space, but I will stress it is a bad idea. Okay, we got yellow because we've got no Sam. What? Did I forget to reconnect something? Like, there's Sam going down there. There's Sam going up. But it's being instantly deleted. No, it's going up. Oh, because Sam takes... I got it. I get it. Because it's further away when it runs out, it actively speaking runs out way quicker. I would have expected the buffer to cover that, but... No. Apparently not. Also, apparently this was... I mean... Yeah, this is the modular frame, so that's one too high. This is the one that matters, and... Working again. Yellow light's barely showing up at all. They shouldn't be so stressed. Did I not use, like, a good belt at the bottom? I thought I used a good belt. Maybe I didn't. Let's see. Was I running low? No, I used this belt, which is the highest quality belt, and I stuck it all the way through. These are normal splitters. That's a normal splitter. Normal splitter. That's a normal splitter. That's a Mark II minor, Mark II minor, Mark II minor, Mark II minor. I could switch it to Mark 1s, I think. Alright, let's see. Okay, so this is Mark II minor, Mark II minor, Mark II minor, Mark II minor. These take 120 per minute. Why? This is acting like a modular system, but it's supposed to be belt loaded, meaning that it only takes out of... Sorry, I forgot to take down Ghost Flint. It's supposed to be belt loaded, meaning that... Maybe I misunderstood the capacity? I need to be blatantly clear. I don't think I need this over here. Mark 4. 4, Mark 4. Mark 4. Organization. Logistics. Conveyor miner. Throughput. 240. Oh. Okay, 240. 240. 240 is... 2 of these. I I need to go use my power shards. I think I even have power shards that should be like sufficient over here, but maybe not. I tend to just have random power shards scattered about. Gonna go ahead and open this up now. Is there like elevator music that I can purchase that's like a thing? Nothing that I can see. There should be like... Alright. Nothing that I can see. Okay. That is a bit of an issue, just because I have to then actively, like, put the power shards back, or I've got to just go over there anyway and just get it over with. Maybe I should just keep a stinking thing of power shards in my inventory. Ugh. Anyway. Power shards. You. Ooh, excuse me. Scare the doggo. I don't know whether or not it's actually the... Yeah, that is a Mark II miner. That is just producing 240. That should solve that. That's what a compacted belt should look like. There we go. Hehe. Okay. Now then, with a bit of a given, that should be all green lights over there soon. I mean, it wasn't like it was all too suffering beforehand, but, like... I'm actually just gonna empty this out. Why? For no good reason. I just gave myself a heart attack with flipping, like, power not being a thing for, like, 5 minutes before I realized, oh, yeah! Forgot to plug it back in. Misconfigured this, misconfigured that. I'm alone with my ghosts of misconfigured pasts. Okay, let's go ahead and dump all of these rotors in, because I don't really have a use for them other than to dump. There we go. I can't even dump them all. Is there a... Yep, that's the spike. Which one should I go with? I guess that one. Yeah, it's all sped up crap. Yeah, I don't have too many cables. For no good reason. Called, I just don't store that many. Checking. I think I actually have some spare. Yeah, it's spare. No spare over there, oddly enough, but that's beside the point. Okay, let's just dump these last few cables in. That should be a couple of automated wiring, which is necessary for this. Tech might just, actively speaking, take out of this and dump it straight in. Who knows? Either way, the only other ingredient is heavy modular frames, and I don't have an extensive amount of those, but I do have enough to, like, do myself a doozy here. Although I do want to summer slip it if I do use these resources, so... Although it is automated, so it's not like I'm going to be crying over it or anything. It's just... It's sad to see him go. Alright. Alright, so which one is the heavy modular frame so that I don't stick it in the wrong one? Yeah, it looks about right. Thinking yakers, snipers. Yep, that seems correct. And then the last one is the automated wiring. That's kind of silly. Let's swoop it. That way, if I do get anything going for it, it's just gonna double it to its maximum. Capability to provide. I could double the resources prior to this, but... eh. Why was it gonna do that again? Why would I want to get almost synced up? I question the logic there. Yeah, I got these anyway. I can just go. I'm not gonna do that though. It's just this is already going to have. I mean, it's not all that much of a drain. Although I could try using double super buffers to actively get like better results and such, but to be entirely honest, it just would take so much space up. I don't think that that's really worth it right now. Either way, this can be removed fully. Like, I can remove this right now and lose nothing. The only thing I lose is the fact that, like, occasionally I get some SAM out of this thing. It's not a lot useful. Getting a bunch of rotor destruction out of that. That'll be nice. Let's check up on... Alright, let's get back to the concrete. Because I do want to finish the concrete aspect. Of this build, so that it can actually just be... Let's see, if I do walls, do a double foundation there. Just have the rest of this be... Yeah. That's pretty good. we go. And all we do is we transfer this. And then we just... Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. Just go ahead and do that. Looks like that's about right, so let's try. Nope. Oh wait, no, that's not how it works. You just... I'm stupid. Do that. Okay, then you take this. And then we just go through here and do... Excuse me. Apparently to clean up with burps. There we go. Highway clear. Now, we're moving on. Guess I'm the only one who's going to use my emotes today. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so that should be able to go right in here. And then we'll just dump this right in here. And then we'll also take this and stick this where it belongs. Anyway, so other than that, there shouldn't be really anything else. Let's actually see what's the situation like on this end. We need, if we have 17 of them, we're gonna need only 100. Oh yeah. Let's loop that, set her up. Okay, is this for the utility time the exact same problem? Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. I'm not even playing this game, just go straight up. Is this... Yeah. So what I'm going to actually do is turn this off before it finishes, because I'm going to transfer all of these over to here, like a smart person would. Make sure that's all hooked up. Plug that in. All that stuff, and also it's not. I'm not even gonna pretend like it is. It's not gonna work like that. So let's get 3 and a spare. And let's get this party started. So first, second, third, that means that everything should be fully functional. And I just need to jump in. Whatever is not, for the time being. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this guy up properly. So that when we finally get to the point where I care about this, I can just dump the stuff in. Ah, excuse me. Seems like it's fine. It seems like it is fine for me. Actually, if I recall correctly, I did have a thing where I stored up, for a short period of time, smart plates. Admittedly, there were wiser things that I've done. Yes, there have been many wiser things that I have done throughout my history, but in this case, it is what it is. Modular engine. Definitely gonna go ahead and just plot this. Like, where? Yep, knew it. This is where the engines go? No, that's where the rubber goes. I'll go get the rubber, and it'll be all nice and done. Speaking of, how's these guys doing? These guys need to play pronto. Unsurprisingly, I mean, due to the fact that it can keep up, which, I mean, isn't all that bad. It's not all that horrible, it's just, I've got to remember to help it along. So, these guys, fine. Everything else, fine. The stators are clogging the system. And that's mainly because they're not being used, because I don't have enough cables. I could take some cables real quick. Yeah, just gonna do that. I have a buffer supply for a reason. The point is to actually use it. In case I need to craft a bunch of stuff quickly. Not using it is probably the stupidest thing I've done. Still. So, let's see. Let's just go over here directly. I'm just gonna go ahead and just manually go in. Hello. You should finish off the stack real nice and quick. Boom. And boom. Why is this in here? This should be like... Wrong. And... Probably just manually. Did I circle it back and just have it automatically go straight in? I think so. I think it'll be a wiser decision overarchingly. Look. Man, I don't really see a good way, clean way of doing it. Especially with all the stators. Why is this back again? It's already full, like, of computers? No. It just didn't want to sort the computer. I'm just gonna go ahead and flip those. Just dump those in as often as I can. Let's see what we can do other than that. I could try and transfer... Like, I know I have Caterium wire, I think. If I look up... evidently, the wire... Yeah. 120 per minute. Which then I can transfer over to... cables. Which is a 2-to-1 conversion, which is fine. 30 per minute is what... Sorry. 60 per minute are required per sorry, not manufacturer, to be a constructor. Per constructor. Although an assembler could do the fused wire, that's not really something that matters right now. And what the crap? That's garbage. Wait. No. No. Am I seeing that correctly? Okay, so let's just look at both of these. 90 per minute. 120 per minute. 1 Caterium ingot. 15 per minute. 3 per minute. Yeah, no. No, that's that's just worse. Congratulations, that's just worse. The only other thing that I could think of is that technically speaking there is the alternative. That's the quick wire cable, but I gotta be honest, quick wire cable's kind of crap, from what I can see. 30 per minute, this does less, this does more. And this almost does anywhere near. Oh, I need to get a bunch of rubber. So I got the concrete line done. I need to get back to my power factory right now, which is over here. It's a whole entire thing. This is an impure node. This is... I got 2 pure nodes above my pure nodes. What the fudge? Man. I wasn't doing that little with it, but I was sleeping on it. I got a pure coal node over my own head? Okay. Okay, but there's not that much around my actual sulfur jurisdiction. That's impure, that's impure. Impure. Man. Normal, normal, impure. Deuterium ore that's pure. Because that's all that useful. And a normal purity. That's not that bad. So, this would be a pretty good place for another steel production if I really wanted to do that. But I don't really see all that much of a reason to do that. It might be a wise idea to dump to quickly place... There we go. Speed it up a little bit. A power tower. Sorry, not a power tower. A radio tower over here so that I can actually get some understanding of the surroundings. What's my current position at? I'm getting roughly at the center. I'd say if I had to choose anywhere to put it, this looks like a pretty good spot right here. Organization, radio tower. Look at that. Bunch of sulfur over here. Bunch of pure sulfur. Impure crap there. Normal. Normal. Impure. Pure. Not a lot of good stuff over here. Normal. Yeah. I think I got out of that area what I really would ever want. This area is kind of silly. Although, I mean, there's always going to be like a couple little knickknacks, paddywhacks, and such over there. I should really change the position of that mid tower there. The main issue is that there's just not really a good justification. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I got Ruber. You said you wanted Ruber? I've got Ruber. I like Ruber. Okay, that seems like it's effectively a crate of Ruber. Shouldn't need a refill. You know. Picking up, this is checked, correct? Yeah. Perfectly fine. Speaking of, this guy is fine. I don't really see a good reason to sit down and actively try and save. Give me that. I don't think it's in particular trouble. Other than that, I mean, I could transfer over a lot more rubber. I could, but it wouldn't really have all that much utility. Could also try and get this thing, like, tamed, but I don't really have a good reason to do that. Until I have, high-speed connectors properly set up. I could also try and get, like, a straighter path here. But that's pure copper node. Probably a wise decision. I'm definitely real quick just gonna... Okay, so let's try and get this a little bit straighter. Okay, and then let's just replace you. Because I don't want us thinking go roundabout. Around the corner, over the hill, through the woods, like every single time. Speaking of which, how many Mercer Spheres and crap are over here anyway? There's 4 Mercer Spheres left, 3 and 2, but only 2 hard drives remaining in this jurisdiction. Well, I'll find them later. I guess I could also just set up the assemblers to make the smart plating already over here. But then it wouldn't be making the circuit boards and such. So Ruber goes here. There is not much. I'm pretty sure if I just stick this in right now, like it'll just be stored inside of the belt, so I'm just gonna let that happen. Okay. Alright. What is the smart plating recipe anyway? Okay. Parts. Is it the special? Nah, I think it's just. Yep, right there. I can increase its speed by adding in some plastic, which I can do pretty quickly. I don't mind that whatsoever. Seems like a pretty easy addition, but the main issue is that my manual manufacturing space is kind of taken up by this construction, which is doing its job most sufficiently. I'm also going to go ahead and just probably clean this up real quick, because neither of these really need to be a thing right now. Sort. There's not an extensive use for modular frames right now. Reinforced plates are about to be useful, so I won't check those. I won't check these. I won't check that. I won't check that. I will check that. And it's about to be used for rotors. Other than that, I think it's about time to start work on... Yeah, I got 30 minutes left. Alright, so there is a sorting system that I need to set up now. And that is the collection system. Oh, this does raise a minor problem, but it ain't all that bad. Also, let's, real quick, since I have... Since I'm right here anyway... Yeah, let's just do it like this. Let's actually decide. And then commit. Okay, so... I think I hit the glass, I don't know. If only there was a sound effect that could let me be aware of such things. That could inform me that I have so rudely touched the glass that has told me not to do so. Oh, so many times. Alright. Start work, transferring over to that side. Not what I was trying to do right now, but you know what? It's going to be helpful later, so I'm just gonna let it be. Bad placement. Alright. Alright. There we go. Why would I do that? Why would I forget that? Alright. Since I don't really need to color anything other than these things, I'm just gonna go ahead and just get to work. Alright, let's get over to the thingamabob where I'm going to be finishing up this stuff. Okay. Alright. And because I know myself, I'm gonna forget. Let's just not let myself do that. So that should be 480 per minute. Lastly, I do need to hook up the power to a couple of the little doodads and details here and there. I was supposed to get certain things, but well, that's gonna take a while anyway, so I'm gonna actively sit down. And I think that this is probably a good spot for it, especially since there's already a transfer down from here, and these are taken care of, so. Don't know what the whistling about, but whatever. That should be that. Alright. So with that noted, let's see. There should be a whole bunch of empty holes, and I see a whole bunch of empty holes that don't do anything except for invite deviousness. And I most certainly wouldn't be that devious to take up such an offer of deviousness. Who do you think I am? Pretty bad offer of deviousness anyways. Not all that devious. But what it is an differentiational space that actively allows for just a wee bit of creative freedom. And I might just indulge in making that a little bit more intriguing later. But for right now, I mean, that make a nice space jurisdiction there. Yeah, it does. Alright. But I do need to actually come up with what I'm going to be doing over here. I also think I'm probably just gonna transfer that door over here. And just have this be. And as far as that goes, then there is organization. That something I care about? Yes. That is horrendously just crappy. Is there anything that I can do as a quick solution, though? Any quick little pieces of things that I can put together? Well, the first thing that I can do is just see what kind of storage such interjections require. So if we sit down and do the age-old extend it out. Yay much. Why would I do that? Now, if I just do double storage and just have it be something where acknowledge from get-go, just me being ridiculous. I have no need to be practical about such applications. The whole point of this is that it's just a way to store a bunch of the things that I need stored quickly. There we go. Then I'll stick that down beneath. Afterward, I'll stick this up. this. Over. Go around. Build. Material. Fix it wall. Yikers, snipers. Very fuzzy. Very fuzzy. Okay, industrial storage. Everything seems fine now. Alright. So, that of course demands, requires attention to the fact that I gotta go downstairs now. Okay, so first things first. A whole bunch of storage. Not a lot of reason at this point. Also just gonna... Oh my goodness, I was using Mach 1s down here? Gosh. No wonder my power was buggy. Also seems like I'm out of supplies to sink, so we're just gonna go ahead and empty this space out a little bit. Alright. Let's try and get it all the way over here. Is everything alright? Doesn't look like anything that shouldn't be being destroyed. And now we just do that. Okay. Yeah, that's a given. Let's go over here. And it'll be fine. And then I'm going to be requiring some water. But first, I'm going to be also requiring a logistics hole here. Preferably over here, actually. Alright. Let's get going down. Now then, in this regard, it should be actually quite simple because we don't actually need a whole bunch of hoopla here. All I need is a series of sorters and the dedicated ideal of a person who would sort such. So, let's get this handled. I'm gonna have a heart attack because of this thinking. Flipping. I'm not gonna have a heart attack, by the way. I don't have heart problems. But that's... I'm trying to make jokes here. Realizing that maybe I shouldn't be making jokes that I'm making. People might misunderstand. Either way, that was my cue to start slowing down. When I start speeding up, I'll be sure to do that. There isn't really all that much that needs processing. I mean, I could try double processing, so like... Alright, so... if I dip into logistics real quick, set up this thing. Keep a straight line until it stops giving me the straight line to keep. Should be fine. And just keep on doing that until that right there. Then I sit down and check what I'm going to be dealing with here. Well, technically speaking, yeah. Unless I thought about this properly. Instead of doing it the way that I'm doing it right now, I'm actually doing it smart, not hard. Instead of what I'm currently doing. Alright. I could also use... yeah, that's something that I could do. But let's start off a little bit simpler. So what I need to do is I need to get as much sorted as I can before I reach this first hold. Now, the first line, let's make this, because this is the easy one, biomass. Alright, so what we do as we think about our decisions and question why we've made the mistakes that we have. Okay, so let's start off with this initial splitter. And remember that it is going this way. And the first one will be wood. Second one will be leaves. And the last one will be any. I'm actually going to go with overflow, actually. So we have a set of nice and beautiful and fully functional ladders for just that purpose. Would be a shame to forget that they're there for just that. Although that does not seem to be the only instance of foolishness that I will have to suffer. In the meantime, let's see, does that clip through? No. I do feel like this is unnecessarily bent to Kingdom Come. Yeah, whatever. Alright. Alright. And this will be done. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and say, since I'm going to have to do this anyway, admits that wisdom favors sitting down and thinking first. This actually should be remains, and we're going to copy settings. We're going to switch which remains. Hatcher. Of course. Of course I didn't think ahead. Why would I think ahead? Why would there just be 3? Of course there'd be 4. Alright. Very little space for the power slugs. Closing out of it. At least the power slugs actually are the number that would be expected. Placement of it on top of that. Why did I choose that one? That one makes more sense. Okay, so what do we got here? We've got Hatcher. Sorry. Let's just do that real quick. Spitter. So we got Hatcher, Spitter, Stinger. And then I'm guessing another Stinger. Let's go hog there. Okay. Let's go hog wild. Okay, so... can't even do it this way. This is actually just shockingly complicated. And just annoyingly simple. Okay, so let's see. All of these are set to overflow at the end, right? Not any. So I'm glad I did that. Will this even work? Let's test. Let us try. Let's try a different way. No. Okay, and if I go like... But this'll work, yeah. This'll work, this'll work. This guy's the stinking trouble. Because he's too close. That's something I can fix. Some of the garbage that I get to see is... It's a mystery. At least to me. Okay. Let's try that out. Why does it not like? I genuinely just thinking. The irony? Let me guess. Instantly, with the slightest hesitation. Oh yeah, that's what that is. Of course that's a conveyor hole. Of course that works. What do you mean? What else would that be? Just thinking. Does this work? Yes. I'm gonna curve it a little bit there. It's a little bit awkward, but whatever. And then we just take these two. There we go. And we sort out the sushi line. Great. Googly moogly. Okay. Ironies are hopefully just about over. I don't care. I'm moving it up a little bit. Exactly why I have it on a two-layer system. Second off. Still need to make a return. Why? Why didn't I think of that? Is that correct? I know my stuff. Pretty sure I do. I'm not playing the whole back and forth thing.
I'm not playing the whole back and forth thing. I'm gonna do the common sense.
Stinking dumbers. Okay, so then we just transfer this. Let's sit down here. You know what? Whatever. I'll get that set up later. Either way. So this is overflow. Let's make that one the blue one. The yellow one looks very nice today. Overflow. Let's make the purple one the first one. It's the bestest. And now I must sit down and think over my decisions in life. I'm joking. It's not all that much that's else to do right now, other than I actually just... Did I remember that? No, I didn't. I did not. Yep, I did not. First, go ahead and just... You know what? Now. Oh, that's all done. And it works. So glad it works. Okay. Okay, so real quick. Default, straight, yeah, it works. And that'll be fine. Then if I just remove these, it should be a nice clean cut. And we can, actively speaking, have things that actually look like they serve a purpose. Yeah, fine. As far as this goes, I think this is a pretty easy stinking decision. Is this? Yeah, it's fine. There. A lot of that's not even going to be necessary. I do like how there's a nice little power check thing with Bob right there. But this will allow me to have the actual power slug processing, the biomass processing, and remains processing, and the leaf processing, biomass processing All in one nice little spot that's easy to actually, like, get to. I can transfer all of those materials up here, where I can slowly but surely break down each and every one of them to individual little sorting mechanisms. That makes sense. And I forgot to transfer the power over to the crystal, the quartz jurisdiction for the uptillionth time. Do I have time? Not really. Could I try to? Yeah. Nobody knows the fact that I'm trying to make things at all. I've got to be honest. Probably I should just be just a little bit more practical with it and try and use these instead. Although, unlike my previous, unlike my design, these tend to take power. But they do tend to actively also allow you to just go for a wee bit and... Okay. That should be it. So if I click in on this guy like this, that should mean that power is going all the way to the Caterium guys. Not the Caterium, the quartz and such. Real quick, go over and check. I could also use the copper and the other alloy to mark those two alloys. The finishes. Does seem like something may have gone wrong. Nope. Everything's coming then. Everything. Does remind me that I also do have the ability to max out these belts, so I'm going to go ahead and just do that real quick. So, max them out. Look at that. Alright. Now that I have power out here, I can also send it over to that oil node over there and get oil so I can have plastic over here. Now I've got full belts, systems prepped, my extension of my existing power, or old power generator that is now going to be dedicated to material processing and mass storage, is also now going to actively soon have its bigger brother, where it'll actually get some crap done. Either way, like or dislike as you will. If you subscribe, going right though, it's no fun, and toodles. Toodles. Toodles.